Once upon a time, there was a husband and his wife made their house not too far from a jungle. They were farmers. They were diligent farmers who put in a lot of efforts into the paddy fields. But despite being married after a very long time, they were still childless. And for every single day, every single night, they prayed sincerely, asking for a child. And then one night, a giant passed their house. The huge man heard their prayers. Oh, I could give you a child, only with one condition, that you would turn the child to me once the child turned 17 years old, the giant said. The couples were so much rejoiced by the offer. They forget about the consequences. They don't even think about the consequences. They're just being overwhelmed by the fact that they could have a child in any way. They took the offer, they took the giant's offer, and the giant gave them cucumber seeds. They placed the seeds into the ground, and then soon enough afterwards, the seeds grow into a plant. On the next morning, a cucumber emerged from the plant. After it's finally ripe, the couple harvested the cucumber and cut it. They were so surprised and astonished to see that there was a very beautiful baby girl lived inside the cucumber. They were so happy to finally have their wishes. The couple later named the baby girl Timun Mas, or golden cucumber. And after years go by, Timun must grow into a very lovely young girl. One day, Timun must finally turned 17 years old. She was so very rejoiced, but not so about the parents. They were deeply depressed. They knew that this day would finally come, that Timun Mas would turn 17 years old finally, and then they have to fulfill their promises to the giant, which to turn Timun Mas away to the giant. Then, later on that day, in the afternoon, the giant came to their house. Of course, with one purpose, to took Timun Mas away. The father knew that the giant would come, so he asked Timun Mas to run away from their house. Go and take this back with you, my daughter, the father said. Timun Mas was very confused. What am I gonna do with this bag? What is about to happen? I don't know. She was very clueless. She doesn't know anything about the promise that her parents were making with the giant. But seeing the giant coming at her family in a furious way, she finally didn't have any choices but to obey her father's command, which is to run away as fast as possible, as far as possible. So she ran away. And then the giant was very furious to see the fact that Timun Mas's parents did not fulfill their promises to him. The giant chased after Timun Mas to the jungle. Timun Mas finally, on the way, opened the bag that her father gave to her previously. And then from that bag, she threw a salt into the air. She threw it to the giant's direction, and the salt, after it touches the ground, turned into an ocean. The giant had to swim the ocean to get the Timun Mas, but Timun Mas keeps on running. And the giant finally reached the edge of the ocean and chased after her again. After Timun Mas saw that the giant managed to swim back to the land, she threw something else again from her bag, which is a jelly, and the jelly finally turned into a plant with sharp thorns. It was not a regular plant, it was a forest, a huge forest. You can imagine, right? A huge forest with sharp thorns to keep the giant stay still in his place. The giants were stuck for a couple of minutes, and he was injured by the sharp thorns, but eventually the giant managed to escape from the sharp, thorny forest. And then Timun Mas saw something else in her bag, which is cucumber seeds. And then she threw the cucumber seeds to the giant's direction again, and the cucumber seeds became a cucumber field. It strangled the giant for a couple of minutes, long enough to keep her away from the giant. But eventually, the giant escaped again, and Timun Mas only had one other magic stuff left in her bag. What was it? It was a shrimp paste, or trasi, we've known it. She threw the trasi to the giant's direction, and the trasi turned into an absorbing mud. It sucked the giant in to the ground. The giant could not escape, and he sank and died. And Timun Mas, seeing that, is very much relieved. The terror that comes her way finally over. The giant died. She finally returned to her home, back to her parents, and their family finally reunited again.